welcome to the Late Look North. I'm Alison Freeman. Good evening. Britain's military is being transformed by advances in new technology. £5 billion has been set aside to increase the use of robots and drones. As part of that, the 1st Battalion, the Royal Anglian Regiment, has been in the region to train in modern drone warfare. Adam Powell reports.
The modern battlefield is being transformed by drones and robots. Lessons learned in conflicts from Ukraine to the Middle East are shaping the way Britain's armed forces will fight in the future. Otterburn Camp in Northumberland is doubling as the forests of Finland in exercise Viking Strike, with the 1st Battalion, the Royal Anglian Regiment. Private Ben Black, who's from Berwick-upon-Tweed, is one of the new breed of drone pilots.
We conduct the strikes, so we've got we'll say reconnaissance drones, we'll find the target, fix the target, and then with my drone I'll strike the target.
The recent defence investment plan will see more than £5 billion to fund the drone transformation of Britain's armed forces. Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Nick McGinley has been in the army more than 20 years and knows how soldiering has changed in that time.
The traditional soldiering that we know has changed dramatically, particularly in the last few years, particularly since Ukraine. It requires a lot more of the soldiers in terms of thinking skills than I think it ever did before. And that's probably one of the key aspects that's overlooked when people just focus on technology and all the kind of emerging developments. The technology will be essential, but I think the key point to make is it's not going to replace a soldier yet. And therefore, it's fundamental that we practice the basics.
This robot is the type that's being used on Ukraine's front line, defending itself from Russia, supplying ammunition to its troops and extracting casualties from the battlefield. Viking Strike, Lance Corporal John Wood is looking for the enemy.
We can operate these up to 40 kilometres away from us, so we can find targets in the deep through these means and then strike them from relative safety at the rear. So I've only recently just got hands on this for this exercise. It took us about a day to train up with the platform itself, so it's pretty simple to understand. Once that day was complete, we was pretty comfortable with piloting the robot itself.
Yes, exercise Viking Strike aimed to find terrain that most closely replicated Finland. The reason we did that was because 11 Brigade are in partnership with the Finnish Kaini Brigade, and therefore, if we were to go to war, this might be one of the most likely locations to go to, and therefore it just makes sense that you would train as you would fight.
What goes on here in Northumberland matters. It may be thousands of miles away from Ukraine, but NATO is warning that the alliance must be prepared for a potential Russian attack as early as 2030. Adam Powell, BBC Look North, Otterburn Camp.
The BBC investigations found rare video of the man accused of leading the gang behind a cyber attack on one of the region's councils. The attack on Redcar in Cleveland Council in 2020 affected services for more than 130,000 local people. Vitaly Kovalev is accused by investigators of masterminding a hacking operation that pulled in more than $180 million in a year as leader of the Conti cyber gang. The story behind the gang is told in a new BBC podcast series, Cyberhack, The Conti Files.
The man alleged to be at the head of that gang, Conti, went by the nickname Stern, a shadowy figure. Your viewers will have seen pictures of people in hoodies with masks, but actually, German police eventually gave a name for who they believe is the head of Conti, the man known as Stern, a Russian called Vitaly Kovalev. So as part of the podcast series that we've been putting together, trying to get to the bottom of the attack that hit Redcar and has hit lots and lots of other people around the world, we sort of went on the trail of Kovalev. How much could we find out about him? And we managed to discover videos of Vitaly Kovalev. And Mr. Kovalev is not hiding away. In some cases, he's waving at the camera. He knows he's on film. We tracked down one of these videos to where it was filmed. It's a holiday resort in Crimea in southern Russia. A family villa there would have cost us £22,000 a week to stay there. So they are not short of cash. So we did reach out to Mr. Kovalev to get his response to the accusations against him. He didn't actually in the end get back to us.
And you can hear Cyberhack, the Conti Files, on BBC Sounds from today. Now, those of you who watched England's thrilling victory over Mexico in the World Cup will have thought it was well worth staying up for. But one fan who's originally from Stockton was lucky enough to be there last night. Tommy Walker, who now lives in Thailand, has spent the last 10 days in Mexico City before witnessing England's historic win.
The stadium was wobbling with how much, because the Mexican fans, England fans were the minorities, were 8,000 to 10,000 there. And just the atmosphere was surreal, but just an incredible experience. The songs, the kickoff was delayed. I've been to many games watching Middlesbrough Cup finals, been to many England games, many tournaments, World Cups, but this was top 5 games of my entire life.
Time for the weather now. Here's Mooney.
Good evening. The temperature's set to climb as we head through the week ahead, back into heatwave territory later in the week across much of the region. A lot of fine, dry weather. Overnight tonight, there'll be some cloud around, certainly. There will be some clear spells. There'll be some thicker patches of cloud, maybe thick enough for the odd spot of light rain or drizzle. Stays fairly breezy. It's a very mild night. Temperatures hold up well into double figures right across the region. So tomorrow there'll be a fair amount of cloud around through the morning. Again, that cloud thick enough for a few spots of rain here and there, and that's the picture as we head through lunchtime. But for the afternoon, we'll start to see the cloud break up. We'll see a few sunny intervals develop later in the day as the brightest spell. 22, maybe 23 Celsius in that westerly breeze, and temperatures climbing through the middle and latter part of the week.
Right, that's it from the late team. We're back tomorrow morning during breakfast, but in the meantime, sleep well. Good night.